Welcome back again. I was talking about ChemFET sensor configuration. You can see here, whenever we are talking about field effect transistor, I hope that everybody must have gone through fundamental of field effect transistor. Let us hope. Now, whenever we are talking about characteristics of field effect transistor, there are two important characteristics: output characteristics and transfer characteristics. So whenever, if you are claiming that you have developed field effect transistor by using the desired material, then what you need to do is you need to quickly see whether you are going to have the gate control on your drain to source current, right? For that purpose, the output characteristics can be studied first. For different VGS, you can modulate VDS and measure IDS. Okay, that is one. And this graph is basically a transfer characteristics. What we have done here, you can optimize VDS, keep VDS constant, optimize value, or you can have the same measurement for different VDS to understand there is a control, like the VDS as well as VGS have control on drain current. Like whenever if you really want to publish paper, at that time, what you need to do to begin with, keep VDS constant. First of all, keep VGS constant and modulate VDS and measure IDS. Okay, and you will get this kind of curve, right? That is what we call as output characteristics for different VGS. If you could have different curves for different value of output characteristics for different value of VGS, it means that yes, you have got control. This is only like 50% of work done. Another 50% work can be ensured by understanding or by measuring the transfer characteristics. For transfer characteristics, what you need to do, you will be modulating VGS, measuring IDS for different value of VDS, right? Usually what we do, like once you have the transfer and output characteristic done, once you understand that the given material is wonderful FET material, right, then you can do the sensing. For sensing, you can optimize VDS, you fix optimized value of VDS, then expose this material to different gas analyte, like here acetone, dichloromethane, and this air. Air means like we are not exposing to any gas analyte. So this is going to be your transfer curve, right? So we have modulated VGS from -40 to +40, and this is how the drain current is modulating. Then what we did, we remove air and then we expose the same device to dichloromethane. You can see different. You can see that altogether different curve. And then again we have tested same thing for acetone. Now, if you look at this, the slope of all three, acetone, DCM, and air is different. Number one, threshold voltage is also different, because here by if you draw the line from this which is parallel to this curve, intercepting x-axis, the whatever intercept you have on x-axis, that is going to be your threshold voltage, right? So threshold voltage for air would be here somewhere around 0. Threshold voltage for DCM would be somewhere around 20. Threshold voltage for DCM would be somewhere around 30, right? So we have got different threshold voltage as well as different uh, slope as well. Slope means you take two different points on this curve on x-axis as well as and accordingly measure the difference of those points. Let us say this is one, this is another. So x2 minus x1, and correspondingly you can have y2 minus y1. So that gives you slope. If you calculate slope for each of these three different like two different analytes in here, you will find that there is a substantial difference in slope as well. So this is how the sensor measurement can be done as far as ChemFETs are concerned. Now there are three different configuration in ChemFET. One is backgated. This is what we are doing in our laboratory. Gate we are treating as a gate. Okay, this is liquid ion gated FET. Liquid ion means what you can do is you can put a drop of the given, let's say, heavy metal ion sensing, right? So you can put a drop of that electrolyte here on the top of this material and put third electrode there, gate. That would be your gate. So that is why it is called as liquid ion gated FET. And third one is, whatever sensing material you have, the same sensing material will be your gate element. Okay, so there you can touch the third element to the channel itself, the material itself, and that would be your gate. So there are three different configuration of FET which is being used by researcher across the globe, but out of these three, backgated FET configuration is being widely explored by many researchers across the globe. This is insulated gate field effect transistor. I mean, backgated FET is similar to this insulated gate field effect transistor. You can see this is our silicon. In between, you are going to have SiO2 and then drain and source, and you can use material to bridge that gap. And that can be either, that channel can be P channel. If this material is P type, it would be P channel. If it is N type, it would be N channel. As whenever we are having that material is always going to be active material, right? In case of backgated FET, what essentially we are doing, we will be exposing our that active material to the gas. As a result of that, there will be modulation in drain to source current, which we have seen earlier. There are many in our lab also. We have developed a CNT FET sensor. CNT means we have used carbon nanotube to bridge the gap. Okay, so we have done many. We have published many papers on CNT based FET. Of course, it's not only CNT based FET. This is one of the figure from Microsoft actually. I have collected some here. So what they have done, they have bridged this gap by using CNT. What essentially we have done is not only CNT, because for as far as the sensor is concerned, only CNT is not, because CNT has certain disadvantages I told you earlier. So in order to address those disadvantages, what we have done is we have modified CNTs with organic conductive polymer, porphyrin. As a result of that, we have developed wonderful, selective field effect transistors. As far as testing is concerned, this is the schematic, or we do have experimental setup for chemiresistive sensing in our laboratory. This is schematic for that, right? You can see, let us say we usually use 16 electrode array, but you can see here one of those gold micro electrode on SiO2 substrate. This gap we are bridging with the desired material. Here we have mentioned MOF deposited on gold microelectrode, means we have used here metal organic framework, but it can be any material which we are essentially using. Okay, and then we have got this gas sensing chamber, in which a very a small chamber we have developed. In that chamber we have to keep our material, and then through K3 4200 or 2400. If it is 4200, then you can do FET measurement as well. But for a camera resistive setup, you need only K3, even K3 2400 will serve the purpose, right? Which will control, like this K3 2400 or 4200 will be responsible for providing voltage as well as measuring current. And then it will automatically calculate resistance, and you can have this kind of, if you plot those values, because you are going to get the data in Excel form with various concentration of the gas analyte, you can have the different responses for that particular VOC. If you plot that data in Origin or Excel, you are going to end up with this kind of curve. So this is the chemiresistive sensing setup. Similar setup we can have with ChemFET also. The only difference would be setup is going to be the same. Only difference would be for ChemFET you need to have K3 4200, whereas for chemiresistive K3 2400 can serve the purpose, because the reason for that is uh, uh, 4200 has two different power supply. We need two different power supply as far as FET is concerned. You need one power supply for between drain and source, other between gate and source, right? So you need two different power supply there. Okay, so that is very much possible with 4200, and then you can expose your material to different gas analyte, and you can study output characteristics, you can study transfer characteristics, or you can keep VDS constant and you can have this transfer characteristics. Or third is also possible. You can keep both constant, VGS and VDS constant, and allow your drain to source current to be modulated by your gas analyte. And that will, in that case, the curve will look like this. It will look like a chemical resistive sensing, but it's not a chemical resistive sensing. It would be a ChemFET only by keeping VGS and VDS constant. But in that case, you need to provide different, this kind of graph for different values of VGS and VDS to confirm that, yes, for different VGS and VDS, different set of VDS and VGS, you have got different real-time sensing. Okay, that also can be done. So if you could do that, that would be a wonderful, option. And this is you can see here. This is the schematic. Okay, this is schematic for gas sensing setup which we have developed indigenously. You must have seen this, and this is 4200 Keithley semiconductor characterization system. This is dynamic gas sensing system. Those who have not visited our center, they may not be aware, but those who are working with us, they are well aware of all those instrumentation. This is the chip I was talking about. Like once you, this is 16 sensor chip. Once you align material, then you need to do the wire bonding here. Wire bonding can be done by using this Westbond wire bonder machine, and then you can have the wire bonded uh, wire bond here, and then that can be kept here. This is the small sensing chamber which we have developed in our research laboratory, and then you can go for testing. Now, as far as FET measurement is concerned, there are two different sensing. Sensing effect. I would say sensing mechanism. Number one, you can have a Schottky barrier modulation. If you have this kind of transfer curve, this is VGS versus IDS. This kind of transfer curve before and after analyte, because before analyte means you are exposing your material to dry air, and after analyte means you are exposing a fixed concentration, maybe 5 ppm or 10 ppm of desired gas analyte, maybe CO, CO2, H2S, whatever. If you end up with this kind of transfer curve in presence of analyte and in absence of analyte, this kind of mechanism is called as Schottky barrier modulation mechanism. If you are having this kind of curve, we can call it as a electrostatic gating effect. Now, what is the difference? Now, if you look at the curves, you can see there is a substantial difference, right? Here you can see if you calculate slope, here slope is going to be different. But if you calculate threshold voltage will be almost same. You can see threshold से कैसे निकलते हैं, यहाँ से स्ट्रेट लाइन ड्रॉ करेंगे ऑन एक्स एक्सिस, राइट? इसको पैरेलल, ये लाइन को पैरेलल रहेगी और हम इसको एक्सटेंड करेंगे जहां पर उसका इंटरसेप्ट रहेगा एक्सिस पे, दैट विल बी थ्रेशोल्ड वोल्टेज. अब देखेंगे कि लगभग एक ही जगह पे इंटरसेप्ट आ रहा है. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि थ्रेशोल्ड वोल्टेज आपका सेम है बट स्लोप डिफरेंट है. So you calculate slope, calculate threshold voltage, and if you come to know that threshold voltage is same but slope is different, that is called as Schottky barrier modulation. Now, what is the reason for that? Schottky barrier modulation is what? मैं आपको बताऊं कि जैसे कि this is, you look at my hand. Okay, so these two hands are, मेरे ये दो हाथ है ना, ये पैड है, ये जो पेन है, this is our carbon nanotube, right? तो ये कैसे पैड के ऊपर कार्बन नैनोट्यूब ऐसे बैठा हुआ, ऐसे ऐसे हमने बिठाया, राइट? तो what happens, like whenever we are aligning CNT across this two microelectrode, तो इसका जो contact है ना, ये कांटेक्ट उतना सही नहीं हो सकता बहुत बार. Like whenever you will be exposing this structure to gas analyte, because of the flow of gas, there would be modulation in the contact resistance. There would be modulation in the contact resistance because of the flow of gases. So whenever you are having the modulation in contact resistance, you will end up with this kind of curve. So you have got different transfer characteristics, but it has nothing to do with gate potential. It has nothing to do with gate potential. This is because of modulation in the contact resistance. हमें क्या चाहिए? हमें ये देखना है कि हमारा जो ड्रेन सोर्स, ये जो आउटपुट या ट्रांसफर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है, हमें ये देखना है कि गेट वोल्टेज का उसके ऊपर कुछ इफेक्ट है क्या. सो इफ यू आर हैविंग दिस काइंड ऑफ कर्व, अब इस कर्व में आपको पता चलेगा कि आप देखिए कर्व का नेचर ऑलमोस्ट सेम है. जब कर्व का नेचर जब सेम रहेगा, इसका मतलब क्या होगा, उसका स्लोप सेम रहेगा. यू आर गोइंग टू हैव द सेम स्लोप. बट इफ यू कैलकुलेट थ्रेशोल्ड वैल्यू, इसका थ्रेशोल्ड यहाँ आएगा, इसका थ्रेशोल्ड यहाँ आएगा. Threshold is different, but slope is same. So whenever, so in this case, we have got same threshold but different slope. Whereas in this case, we have got different, same slope but different threshold voltage. So whenever you will be having same slope but different threshold voltage, it means that it is electrostatic gating effect. It means whatever potential you are applying at VGS, that is going to play a role in having the different nature of the transfer curve. Truly speaking, whenever you will be doing FET sensing, you need to get this kind of curve, not this kind of. But in reality, you are going to get combination of both. मतलब बिल्कुल ऐसे ही आएगा ऐसा नहीं है. ओके, आपका थ्रेशोल्ड भी डिफरेंट रहेगा एंड दोनों रहेगा उसमें. या जैसे कि इसमें क्या है, थ्रेशोल्ड डिफरेंट है बट स्लोप सेम है. हमें ये अगर इफ यू कुड हैव दिस काइंड ऑफ कर्व, सेंसिंग कर्व, you are done, like you are ultimate winner in that case. But in reality, this is ideal. In reality, you are going to have combination of both. मतलब क्या होगा कि आपका थ्रेशोल्ड भी डिफरेंट होगा एंड स्लोप भी अलग रहेगा. इसका मतलब ये है कि देयर वुड बी इफेक्ट ऑफ कॉन्टैक्ट रेजिस्टेंस भी थोड़ा मॉड्यूलेट होगा एंड there will be effect of electrostatic gating effect on these devices as well. So this is what it is important whenever you will be doing FET sensing. This is very, very important. Now let us talk about electrochemical sensor. Electrochemical sensors are most versatile and highly developed chemical sensors. They are divided into three important types: potentiometric, amperometric, and conductometric. In potentiometric, whenever you are measuring voltage, that kind of electrochemical cell is called as potentiometric electrochemical cell. Whenever you are measuring current, that is called as amperometric, and whenever you are measuring conductivity, is called as conductometric. Truly speaking, amperometric configuration is widely used in most of the sensor application. Amperometric configuration is widely used. Potentiometric and conductometry is being very rarely used. In fact, in those kind of sensors, special electrodes are needed. Like whether it potentiometric, amperometric, conductometric, different kind of electrodes are needed. And these are some of the different, I mean, example of some of the electrodes. Like this is by using, you can see here, aluminum tube, and on that we have coated SiO2. Okay, so this is one kind of, electrode. This is an interdigited electrode on semiconducting substrate. Okay, again this is again different, you can see these different configurations. So there are different configurations which are being explored by different research scholars across the globe. Now, what is happening what is actually electrochemical sensor? Either a chemical reaction takes place or the charge transport is modulated by the reaction. So what happens whenever in electrochemical sensor? Either there would be chemical reaction taking place or the charge transport is modulated by the reaction. Truly speaking, both things is going to be happen. The charge is going to be, charge transport is going to be happen there, and electrochemical reactions also going to be taking place in electrochemical sensing. Electrochemical sensing always requires a closed circuit. This is very, very important. Whenever we are talking about electrochemical sensing, it requires always closed circuit. Current must flow to make the measurement, because unless you have a closed circuit, you're not going to have a flow of current, because in open circuit resistance would be infinite and there is no question of current flow. So whenever there is a closed circuit, because why do we require a closed circuit? Because we need to measure current. Okay, so current need, because either voltage or current need to be propagated, need to be flown, right? And therefore we need current closed circuit. And since we need closed loop, we need at least 2 electrodes. हमें क्योंकि क्लोज लूप चाहिए इसलिए कम से कम 2 इलेक्ट्रोड चाहिए. These sensors are often called as electrochemical cell. इसको हम electrochemical cell भी बोलते हैं. Now, how the cell is used, that will decides sensitivity, selectivity and accuracy. Cell को कैसे आप डिजाइन करते हैं, कैसे कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है उसका, that is going to influence the sensitivity, selectivity and accuracy of the sensor. Let us see potentiometric sensor to begin with. Now, what is potentiometric sensor? जैसे मैंने बताया, ये है electrochemical cell का example. This very sophisticated cell, आपको इतना sophisticated नहीं होना जरूरी नहीं है. आपने हमारा लैब में देखा होगा कि there is one beaker and on beaker there are 3 different electrode: counter electrode, working electrode and reference electrode. You need those 3 electrode for material deposition. As far as material depositions are concerned, you need those 3 electrode. But for sensing, as I mentioned earlier, you need only 2 electrode. No, you don't need 3 electrode. Now, as far as electrochemical sensing is concerned, or electrochemical cell is concerned, redox reaction is going to be very, very important. So it is going to be takes place on the electrode surface, right? So either it can be oxidation or reduction, right? Either it can be oxidation. Let us say this is oxidation. This is oxidation, oxidant plus electron, and as a result of that, you are going to get some reduced product. Whereas Z is the number of electrons involved in the redox reaction. What is, since you are not having, you may not have chemistry background, and therefore let me give you a little bit, the basics of, let me tell you basics of redox reaction. Redox stands for reduction oxidation. Okay, we call it a reduction oxidation, called as popularly redox. Redox reaction include all chemical reaction in which atoms have their oxidation state change in general. Redox reaction involves the transfer of electrons between the species. It means oxidation state of that both material as well as electrode is going to be changed. Okay, it means either electron would be, let's say, if you're talking about electrode, so electrode may lose the electron or it may gain the electron. Similarly, whenever you're talking about the electrolyte may lose, like whenever the electron is being lost by the electrode, obviously the electrolyte is going to gain the electron. Whenever the electrolyte or solution is going to lose the electrode, it is going to be gained by the electrode, right? But we are looking at the electrode surface. So oxidation is the loss of electron or an increase in oxidation state by molecule, atom or ion. So we are talking about electron only. Okay, so whenever that electrode lose the electron, we call it as a oxidize. जब हम कहते हैं ना ऑक्सीडाइज हुआ, इसका मतलब क्या, उसने एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को लूज किया. जब वो रिड्यूस होगा, तो whenever is gaining electron, we call it as a reduction. जब रिड्यूस हुआ, इसका मतलब क्या, उसने इलेक्ट्रॉन गेन किया. You can see this. Oxidant plus is gaining electron. The process is reduction. As a result of that, you will get the product. So after gaining electron, the gaining electron process is called as reduction. And losing electron process is called oxidation. You can see this is reductant, losing electron. The product is going to get the electron. Here the original I mean the original, either it can be electrode surface or let us say electrode surface losing the electron, and product would be at the, or we can say electrolyte is going to lose the electron, and the electrode is going to gain the electron, right? So like that, reduction and oxidation reaction is going to be very integral part of any electrochemical cell. This is another schematic of 3 electrode electrochemical cell, very simple, right? You have got working electrode, counter electrode, and reference electrode. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, for synthesis purpose you need working electrode and counter electrode and reference electrode, लेकिन सेंसिंग जब आपको करनी है तो आपको काउंटर इलेक्ट्रोड की जरूरत नहीं है, only reference and working electrode is going to be. This is another simple schematic, okay, of electrochemical potentiometric sensor. आप देखिए यहाँ पर ये वर्किंग इलेक्ट्रोड मतलब आपका सेंसर रहेगा, दिस इज रेफरेंस इलेक्ट्रोड, यहाँ आप ये आपका वर्किंग इलेक्ट्रोड रहेगा, ये रेफरेंस इलेक्ट्रोड रहेगा, एंड दिस कैन बी योर केटली 4400 जिसके थ्रू आप वोल्टेज दोगे एंड मेजर भी करोगे। जब आप देखिए, जब आप करंट मेजर करोगे तो दिस बिकम्स एम्पीरोमेट्रिक मेजरमेंट, जब आप वोल्टेज मेजर करोगे तो दिस बिकम पोटेंशियोमेट्रिक मेजरमेंट। तो जब आप केटली 4200 और 2400 यूज करोगे तो आपको अलग से कुछ नहीं करना है, सेटिंग करनी है खाली। अब वोल्टेज देखिए, करंट मेजर कर रहे हो या चेंज इन, आई मीन जब आप चेंजेस जो होंगे ना, वेदर यू आर मेजरिंग दो चेंजेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ वोल्टेज और करंट, इफ यू आर मेजरिंग दो चेंजेस इन टर्म्स ऑफ वोल्टेज we call it as a potentiometric, and whenever you are measuring those changes in terms of current we call it as a amperometric. This is another schematic of electrochemical cell, and whatever जो इक्वेशन जो भी ऑक्सीडेशन रिडक्शन होगा, जो भी ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट जो इलेक्ट्रोड का जो रिएक्शन होगी इलेक्ट्रोड की एक सरफेस पे, that is going to follow Nernst equation gives the potential of each cell. So this Nernst equation is going to play important role, and this is the Nernst equation. What is that? E equal to E0 plus RT divided by NF log of CO divided by CR. What is CO? CO is the oxidant concentration, क्योंकि हमें ऑक्सीडेंट चाहिए, राइट? CR is going to reduce product होगा उसका, that is going to be CR. N is the number of electrons transferred per redox reaction. F is the Faraday constant, T is the temperature, R is the gas constant, and E0 is the electrode potential at a standard state. So whenever we will be applying voltage, what would be a standard voltage you will apply? That is going to be E0, and this is going to measure. This is applied voltage, and this is going to measure voltage. Okay. And then this, like whatever so far discussed, that was example of a simple sensor. Now let me give you a glimpses of, we have got 5 minutes, around 8 minutes left. So within 8 minutes, I will give you glimpses of a complex sensor. Now, as I told you, the complex sensor consisting of 2 different transducer in it. Complex sensor will be 2 different transducer. The first transducer will be responsible for identification of analyte. Okay, and second transducer will be responsible for converting those changes into electrical. Okay, and since there are 2 different transducer, we call it as a complex sensor. So complex sensor involve chemical phenomena that change the state of an indicator as a function of some chemical reaction. Indicator मतलब क्या है कि जो भी आपका इनपुट इंटरैक्शन जो होगा ना, that let us say जैसे मैंने आपको फाइबर ऑप्टिक सेंसर की एग्जांपल दिया था आपको, तो क्या होगा वहां पर रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स इज गोइंग टू बी इंडिकेटर। तो जो क्लैडिंग हमने, जो पॉलीमर जो मटेरियल हमने क्लैडिंग पे लगाया, वो क्लैडिंग का रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स मॉड्यूलेट होगा कब? जब हम उसके ऊपर गैस एनालाइट को, हम उसको गैस एनालाइट के साथ में एक्सपोज करेंगे। सो इंडिकेटर विल बी मॉड्यूलेशन इन रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स। ओके, नाउ the modulation in the refractive index, we need to convert that into electrical form, right? जब RI में modulation होगा तो there will be deviation in total internal reflection, right? तो आउटपुट पे जो लाइट जाएगा उसका पावर एंड इंटेंसिटी both is going to be modulated. That can be detected by detector. Detector will be converting those changes into electrical form, right? Indicator can be temperature change, capacity change और एनीथिंग एल्स। जैसे पहले मैंने क्या बताया आपको, वहां पर refractive index modulation. यहाँ पर क्या होगा? You can have a temperature change or capacitor change. These indicators require another transducer to convert the changing indicator to electrical. जैसे कि मान लो आपका temperature change हो रहा है, so that change in temperature need to be converted into electrical signal. Change in capacitance need to be converted into electrical signal. So you need another transducer, right? So in complex, there would be two different transducing mechanism happening. Biosensor is a wonderful example of a complex sensor. तो बायोसेंसर क्या है? बायोसेंसर इज बेसिकली बायोरिसेप्टर प्लस ट्रांसड्यूसर. बायोरिसेप्टर प्लस ट्रांसड्यूसर. कहां पर है बायोरिसेप्टर? ये देखिए, बायोरिसेप्टर इज ए बायोमॉलिक्यूल दैट रिकॉग्नाइजेस द टारगेट एनालाइट. फॉर एग्जांपल एंजाइम, एंटीबॉडीज, न्यूक्लिक एसिड. एग्जांपल देता हूं आपको, ग्लूकोज सेंसर. ग्लूकोज जो ब्लड का जो ग्लूकोज हम मेजर करते हैं ना, उसके आजकल सेंसिंग स्ट्रिप आते हैं, आपने देखा होगा. So on that strip there will be some enzyme. Like for glucose oxidase is the enzyme. So that glucose oxidase is going to be bioreceptor, and that is highly selective. Glucose oxidase will react only with glucose, not with any other. जैसे कि ब्लड में बाकी कोलेस्ट्रॉल रहेगा, यूरिया रहेगा, यूरेज रहेगा, sorry. So that glucose oxidase is not going to be reacted with either cholesterol or any other parameter other than glucose, and that therefore biosensors are by default they are highly selective. Okay, so this is bioreceptor which will detect the changes. So यहाँ पर क्या होगा? glucose concentration के changes है, there would be biochemical reaction takes place and there would be change in biochemical signal. That change in biochemical signal need to be converted into electrical signal. So bioreceptor will be responsible for detection of variation in the glucose, for example in case of glucose sensor, and then you need a transducer which will convert that into electrical signal. This is the wonderful animation of the biosensor. You can see this is bioreceptor. जैसे मैंने बताया था आपको, एंजाइम होगा, एंटीबॉडी होगी. ओके, उसको हम यूजुअली एंटीबॉडी और एंजाइम कहते हैं. Glucose oxidase is one of the example, right? And transducer can be, you can see here, transducer can be electroactive substrate, it can be pH change, it can be heat, it can be light, it can be mass change. I mean, this is the device which will be responsible for converting pH into the electrical signal, heat into the electrical signal, light into the electrical signal, mass change into the electric signal. Accordingly, it can be either semiconductor pH electrode, it can be either thermistor or photon counter or piezoelectric devices. Right? Now, whenever this analyte, like they say glucose, comes in contact with this bioreceptor, what will happen? You can see. Whenever they are coming in contact with here, you will get here signal here. You will get some biochemical signal here. Okay, you can see here once they are in here. So यहाँ पर आते ही आपको यहाँ पर ये biochemical signal आया. So biochemical signal, this is one transducing mechanism, right? यहाँ पर biochemical signal कैसे होंगे? Because it will depends on the concentration of this, and these changes are going to be converted into electrical signal. This is another schematic. You can see this is a glucose oxidate trapped on conducting polymer matrix. So conducting glucose oxidate trap on conducting matrix is going to be a transducer, and glucose oxidase is going to be reacted with glucose. Glucose oxidase is bioreceptor that is going to be reacted with glucose. You can see here glucose in presence of O2 and H2O. Glucose in presence of O2 and H2O. Of course, in presence of GODS means glucose oxidase. What is going to be reaction? You are going to get gluconic acid and H2O2. And this H2O2 is going to be further dissociated to liberate electron. This H2O2 is going to be further dissociated to liberate electron. And this electron will be responsible for generating electrical signal. So this is what it is happening. This is another schematic of enzyme sensor. This is what it is happening in glucose sensor. I think I will stop here today.